When we flew to Colombia, I went to the Bogota MTC first. So a little bit about getting there. Kind of interesting. We got there and we had to go through customs. So that was a little bit different because they kind of like they ask you the stuff in Spanish and like none of us really knew Spanish, but somehow we got through it. And then we kind of left the airport. Just we didn't like leave the airport. We are just waiting out front. Didn't really know. Someone was supposed to pick us up. And then this guy comes up to us. He's like, "Hey," and he starts talking to us. I didn't understand a word that he said, but one of the missionaries luckily understood something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he told us to go to like Portal 2 and wait for a white van." So that's what we did. We went to Portal 2 and waited for a white van. Then he pulled up, and we all got in the van and took us to the Bogota MTC. So worked out good. It was definitely kind of interesting, getting there into a new country. Kind of a different world if you've never been outside the United States, and obviously a new language. You don't really understand anything. You're just kind of going with it. And then, yeah, after 3 weeks in the Bogota MTC, we flew to Cali. It's only like a half an hour flight from Bogota to Cali. So not bad. It's like a 12-hour drive, though, because just the roadways and stuff, and with all the mountains, it's not good roadways, but it's just the flight's really short. So we got there. I remember meeting my mission president. He's actually from St. George. The name was President Prince. So he's a great guy. So we met him, and they took us to kind of like the mission office. Kind of took like a little nap there because our flights were like at 4 a.m. and stuff. So that was good. We kind of took a little nap in the mission office and had some pizza and stuff. And then we went and met our companions. The way that they did it in my mission then, all of us were trained by Latins. There wasn't any like Americans training Americans. Our mission president usually did it like that. Plus there's a lot more Latin missionaries in the mission than there are Americans. So I know some, even South American countries, there's more Americans, but in Colombia there's more Latins than Americans. So most of the time you'll only be with Latin companions for your whole mission, especially your trainer. So my trainer and I, we got assigned to kind of like a new area. It was an area that he hadn't been to before either. So we were both new to the area. We didn't really know, where we were going or anything like that. I didn't know anything about, the country or how it worked or anything. So I remember kind of going out. It's definitely a different experience. Just even walking in the streets, like at least for, someone like I grew up in Idaho and not really been out of the United States. And so even just like walking on the streets all day, that's what everyone does in Colombia and a lot of, other parts of the world. They just walk everywhere. And just the way that the houses are set up, I mean, I'm sure you can Google it or whatever, and other people that have, served missions in other Latin American countries, just the way things are, the streets are different. Obviously, my first area wasn't like, unless you're in a rich area, then it's kind of closer to what you would feel like here, but my first area wasn't, none of my areas really were rich areas, so definitely a different experience. Living in the apartment that we lived in was definitely a different experience. I mean, obviously you don't have like the same kind of living conditions that maybe you're used to your whole life, so that can be an adjustment. There's, kind of like a lot of bugs and stuff. There's always ants like crawling all over your apartment. We had like mice in our apartment the first time and stuff, so I mean, you just got to embrace it, I'd say. I mean, I was pretty like bad about like not liking bugs and mice and stuff, and I wasn't someone that was super like okay with that before my mission, but you get used to it. I mean, it's what you do on the mission. I would say just listen to your companion, especially if you have, I mean, whether it's an American or Latin companion, it doesn't really matter. They've been there in the mission for a while, so definitely just listen to them and kind of follow their lead. And I mean, it can be a little bit tough, living in a different place, but that's all part of the experience. And yeah, I say just embrace it because it's a good time, good experience. So.